So today is the first episode of the Vibecast, and our first guest is Mark Van Bommel, the owner and founder of Vibe.FX. How's it going, Mark?
I'm good. Thank you.
Good to have you today.
Thanks, John.
I want to look at a few things. When you hired me, you wanted me to tell the story of Vibe.FX.
Yep.
So I figured there's probably no better way to start than by telling us about the history. How you started the business. How did everything come to be? How did you found Vibe.FX?
So from the start, I've been an employee at a lot of plants.
Okay.
Right? And a subcontractor at a lot of plants. And then I was an employee at a plant, and I was involved in a very bad industrial accident. Super bad.
Fair
My
enough.
Star's helicopter.
Okay.
And they treated me so poorly and the other guy so poorly. And yeah, it's big changes as it happens from a big existential push. So that's how I got into vibration analysis. I just took some training and worked with another guy and shadowed and mentored with this guy for a while, and he retired, and
Then it was all your show.
it was all me. Yeah.
So what year was that in?
03, I think it was.
So we're talking over 20 years at this point.
Yeah.
Jeez. And I'm guessing you've had a lot of employees, a lot of adventures along the way. One of the biggest things I like to address is, especially dealing with companies like ours, is that people tend to think that there's a lot of competition, but in this field, ironically, it's one of the rare times where there actually isn't
Yeah,
all that many people. What would you say makes us different from anyone that comes close to what we do?
so there's competition, but nobody holistically like us. So like we started off doing vibration.
Yep.
And that was entirely it, really. And then it was, I found the problem. Mark, can you fix the problem? And that's how we started to grow, because now I find the problem, and then we have guys fix the problem. And now we're full turnkey there, so we can find the problem, identify the problem, engineer, suggest, or implement a solution, and then execute the solution. Full turnkey, the whole package. That's just on that division. Never mind what we do with the fans.
For sure. And that's one of the first things I found out about the company when I first joined. But then I came in and realized that there's a whole fan division across that. Can you tell us a bit about that?
What do you want to know? I guess.
Really, how did that come to be? Because if you're looking at vibration analysis and motion amplification, where did you decide that there was a fan division that was going to be a part of Vibe.FX?
That was a long time ago too. That was
no way.
About 20 years ago.
Okay.
So,
Wow.
fin fans. Fans are a big part of our business. Doing vibration and
Right.
resonance and VFDs and tuning, and fin fans are usually manufactured very poorly and installed very poorly, and a lot of plants don't even consider the importance of them.
Yeah.
Not until afterward, until they're important, whether it be through heat or heat evacuation or reliability issues. That's how that started 20 years ago, just tuning these fans. Like, it's all about the little things.
Is that where you came up with the expression, the hot rod shop for fans and equipment?
So, no, that came up just a couple of years ago when we brought over the division.
Right.
We basically acquired a division, or took a division from a large supplier,
Mhm.
and we took a lot of their, I don't know how you're going to edit this properly. Took their
Don't worry about it. Yep.
And that's when we came to hot rod. Before, I would always just fix them.
Okay.
Now we're into full turnkey. We do all the engineering, the design, the sales, the installs, the execution, the commissioning, startup, not everything but new construction.
Right.
Because the hot rod thing came in because it's always built lowest dollar, right? Always.
Yeah.
And so they always lack in performance. 20-30% under design is super common.
And what would you say the performance is afterwards?
We can quite comfortably, not uncommon at all, to get 25-30% more than design.
That's amazing.
With upgrades. Yeah.
Well, considering those numbers, what would you say is one of the bigger jobs that you've been on so far where you've brought the biggest impact? I know that certain companies or even operations just can't seem to get their equipment going, yet you come in, like you often say, like a ninja. You're in there for a few hours, a few days, and then you're out of there and everything's up and running. What would you say would be the biggest job or the biggest accomplishment you've had so far?
In just fans?
I would say across Vibe.FX altogether.
I don't know. Humble brag, there's been a lot.
Yeah.
Like a lot. Like a lot of these big construction firms or big sites, I should say.
Yep.
They can't get their assets up and running, can't get things started, commissioned, can't get the plant started up. And so, yeah, and oftentimes there's been cases where it's been multiple decades,
Right.
or there's been cases where it's just been hours. There's so many. There's so many.
And I know you're being humble. Without naming any companies, from what I've seen so far, there's actually some cases where the numbers that you've saved them have been in the millions, right?
Many multiples, yeah.
I know you've done work from all over Canada down to the States. I've heard of you managing some jobs down in California for our hydrogen projects where they couldn't get anything functioning for how many years, you said?
All told, that project was 4 years trying to get things from construction, from greenfield to startup. They're in it 4 years. They couldn't figure it out.
Crazy. So what would you say when you compare one of those firms that comes in and only delivers gigantic forms for companies to read without having any information? You come in, you write up a 3-4 page report, and the equipment's up and fine.
Well, the difference is a lot of those, they're engineering type firms. They don't have the practical hands-on experience like we do, and our guys. Honestly, it's our guys, right? We have the practical hands-on know-how to work through the stuff, and we don't make it complicated. We stew it down to simplicity.
Right. And I think that's the best way to go about it. That's a great explanation if you ask me. What would you say if I were to ask you what your greatest accomplishment would have been towards your employees?
Not having somebody get hurt.
Right? Fair enough. Fair to say we do share a warehouse with another company, and it's something that's great.
We've never had an injury of anything significant at all, like 20-something years.
That is huge. If anything, that's almost unheard of. Absolutely.
And, over the years, we've had well over 600 employees, for a small company, but steady maintaining 20 plus 30 guys.
Yeah.
Right. And no injuries.
And like I said, that's basically unheard of. When it comes to business on the other side of things, how do you say Vibe.FX manages to stay so stable and busy in a downturn like we're going through right now, considering political downturn, economic situations, the tariffs and everything? What do you think makes us so effective at what we do?
We care. Our guys care.
Mm-hmm.
We do great work, and sounds like a bunch of BS, but it's not. We friggin' care, man. Right?
And if there's one thing we can say is that we've got the numbers to prove that.
Yeah.
Which is amazing. Like I said, so many companies, you and I were having a conversation, are going through shutdowns. They can't make the numbers. Everything is going down for them, unfortunately. And a lot of companies are even downsizing right now. If anything, we're kind of like on the opposite side of the spectrum. Would you agree that companies are maybe looking at trying to be more efficient finally and getting their equipment to run better instead of just installing a new part every time?
That's a big part of it, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Like when times get lean and stuff, they want to de-bottleneck or reliability issues, make things leaner and meaner. That's a big part of it.
For sure. Oh, awesome. That's great to know. Well, Mark, I just had a few questions for you today. If there's anything you'd like to add, by all means, go ahead. I'll be sharing this with our fans online, and we'll be going from there.
Our OnlyFans.
Anything but OnlyFans, right?
I gotta give you lots of editing.
For sure.
Thanks.
Not OnlyFans. All right.
Like and
Mark,
Thanks,
that's it. Like and subscribe, guys. Thanks.